I was missing something, so I started microdosing, and it actually works and it helps. And for anxiety and depression, it's helped me a lot, and that's why I started doing it.
Psychedelics, it's given us a chance to actually connect with ourselves. Once we do that, we connect with nature, we connect with everybody else, and eventually the universe.
Te lo juro que digo, I want this medicine to bring the best out in me, to make me a better version of myself, to heal my mind, body, and soul. Y cada vez, it's like, I want to have a good experience. I'm intending that. I want to be the best self. Happy Monday, guys. How is everyone doing today? I hope you guys are doing fabulous. Espero que estén pasando esta semana súper bien. I'm really looking forward to today's episode because we're going to be talking about something I've hinted at over the last few months, microdosing. I told you guys how it's changed my life, but I haven't really said too much more about it. And that's because I wanted to wait until we had a perfect guest. So now that we have that person, let's dive right into it. This is Chiquis and Chill. Our guest today is José Antonio Badía. He's an artist, writer, and the host of two podcasts, Leyendas Legendarias and Escuela Secreta. Escuela Secreta is actually part of the family, you guys, the Cultura podcast network. So welcome to the show. Welcome back, José. ¿Cómo estás?
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have you here. La verdad, pensé en ti. Fuiste la primera persona. I was like, I need to talk about microdosing because I've mentioned it on the podcast a lot, but I don't know enough about it yet. So I was like, I need someone that's open about this and has an open mind and has tried it. So let's talk about it.
Quick disclosure, I'm not a medical professional or anything.
Yes,
so
you guys,
everybody that wants to try this, just ask a medical professional first. But I can give you all of everything I've read from Timothy Leary and the DMT spirit molecule and all of these things and my personal experience.
Okay, perfect.
So this is incredible. I think it's really important that we talk about this.
Yes, see, and this is why, because I think when we had our first conversation here on Chiquis and Chill, we touched a little bit about wasaganda. ¿Cómo se llama?
¿Wasaganda?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. Yeah.
Ayahuasca. Yo estoy hablando de guanga, no sé qué. Okay,
Sí,
ayahuasca. Ayahuasca. I still haven't tried it. So we talked a little bit about that stuff. So that's why I thought about you. And again, you guys, like José Antonio just said, we are not qualified professionals. It's just, I wanted to have an open conversation with someone that is open about it. And anyways, so let's talk about it. Okay, tú dijiste que lo empezaste a hacer, what, 4 to 5 years ago, something like that?
Sí, ya oficialmente, like, as an exercise and as I've been reading about it and trying it, and I have my journals, and it's as therapy because I did acid when I was younger. It changed my life completely, LSD.
Okay.
It was a bad trip, but it confronted me with my ego, and it just changed the way I saw the world and my family and myself.
Okay.
And when I got older, I said, like, okay, let's get into this, but for real, like, let's read into it. Let's actually use it to further my mind, my spirit, and, control the ego. Because I think that's what this is all about. And that's how I started, and that's how I got it into psychedelics and microdosing. And it helped a lot because I'm not diagnosed, but obviously I have like ADHD and dyslexia and all of that stuff.
He said obviously.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
But I was born in the 80s, so I was never diagnosed. That was good because I was never drugged or anything. So I'm where I am thanks to my crazy, bizarre, absurd mind.
To your very beautiful mind. A mí me encanta cómo piensas. You have a very expanded, just like I can tell you're an intelligent person, and I want to talk to you about so many questions. I have so many questions. I want to talk to you about so many things. Porque sí, it's a beautiful mind. Pero bueno, okay, mira. Yo empecé esto de psychedelics. My brother actually was the first one that started doing it, and he wanted me to do it with him like 3 Christmases ago. Y dije, no, I'm not ready. Like, I just wasn't ready. Yo le tenía miedo. I thought it's something bad because I grew up with, oh, it's a drug and you shouldn't. And mi familia es muy cristiana.
Vas a ver al diablo.
Exacto, vas a ver el diablo. Y no, don't meditate, don't do yoga because it takes you to a different dimension and you're not supposed to see that. And that's, I feel like, very, like, religion can be very, sin ofender a nadie, because I respect all religions. There's a lot of beautiful things from every religion, you guys. So that's where my thoughts came. Finally, I started looking at documentaries on psychedelics, on LSD, on how these things can really heal our body, mind, and soul, literally. So I said, okay, this is right up my alley. I like meditating. I like hiking. I feel like I was missing something. So I tried it and I started microdosing. And a friend of mine actually was the one that introduced me, and she gave me some. It actually works and it helps.
It frees your mind.
Exactly. It frees your mind and it can really heal you. And you can stop taking, in my opinion, prescribed medication. I'm not saying that. Obviously, you got to talk to your doctor and all that stuff. But for anxiety and depression, it's helped me a lot. And that's why I started doing it. Y ya llevo, 10 meses. Y on stage, Jose, like, me siento otra persona. I feel just... me vale madre. No sé. I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm like, me vale madre todo.
Yeah, since you don't care, you're free and you're free to care, right?
Exactly.
But you're free to care about what really matters. So
right.
You can let go of anxiety and all of these things. And what you're saying is true. There's actually a lot of studies. They're using MDMA, psilocybin, mushrooms, and LSD to cure PTSD, and they're having amazing results with this.
Yes.
This is science-based, but it's hard because since they're still illegal in some places, well, it's hard to have actual scientific studies when you're managing something illegal, right?
Right.
But
That's
I
tough.
think microdoses are, why don't we start with the beginning? Like a microdose is about 1/10 of the regular dose. So let's say you would take 1 gram of mushroom. That would be like the norm, like for a regular psychedelic trip. So you would take 1/10 of a gram, and that's your microdose.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing, más o menos,
Yeah.
por ahí. Okay, so it's poco a poco. You could do it in one, right? Like have a big trip, or you could do microdosing, which is I do every 2 to 3 days.
Yes, and that's important, actually.
Okay.
So, and it differs in this way. With the microdose, and this is what's so beautiful, but you will not trip. You will not get the visuals. You will not get all those super tingly feelings. You will not talk to the plants. So you only get this feeling of just incredible well-being. You'll be able to concentrate. You'll be able to get your ideas together. And this feeling of everything's okay.
Yes.
Without the tripping part. So that's important. You can go on throughout your day. Like everything's normal. Nobody will even be able to tell.
Yeah.
Y por eso es importante. It's really important that you have a diary because most people will go like, well, nothing happened. That's the point. But if you look back and you think about how your last week or 2 weeks, you're going to be like, well, actually, I was really happy. I slept well. I wasn't anxious. I was really creative. And that's when you can really feel like, oh, this is actually working for me.
Yes, exactly. Y yo me acabo I'm like feeling a little better, but I was sick for like 2 weeks. Me tumbó, no sé qué era, but era una gripa fatal. Pero bueno, I didn't microdose during those days. And I don't know if it's just a mental thing. I don't know. But I started feeling sad again. And the difference that I see with microdosing is that I don't feel as sad. I don't feel like like you said, I just feel like everything's going to be okay. And I set an intention every time. It's not just, me las voy a tomar porque lo que yo me tomo son pastillitas. Pero I set an intention and I pray and I pray over my medicine and I call it medicine and I drink it with water and I don't feel anything anymore because I think your body gets used to it fairly quickly. So if I want to drink instead of 2 pills, I drink 3. And I don't know about all the grams and stuff like that, you guys, but I just know that I microdose. It's very little. Y bueno, I feel more creative and I just feel different. And I started doing it again. Ya llevo una semana and I just feel like better again. No sé. Me encanta, la verdad.
See, and what it does is, I mean, I was telling you the important part about giving it 1 or 2 days before every take.
Oh, yes.
Is so that you can get rid of it and then it'll hit you just like the first take. Because if you take it every day, although there's some people that say like take it from Monday to Friday and then don't take it Saturday and Sunday. The thing is you need to let your body get rid of it so you don't build up tolerance. Because then you'll need 3 or 4 or 5. Then it's not a microdose anymore.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it, but you want to keep the microdose at least for your normal settings. Like for me, I do LSD and mushroom microdose. Okay. And I found out that for my brain just, it works incredibly well with LSD.
I see. Okay.
So, I work writing. I investigate all the true crime and the ghost stuffs and everything. So I'm always reading and writing. And the first thing I realized with microdosing is that I could recall names. I'm really bad with names. I could recall all the names that I just read. I would write 5 pages. And when I'm done, I'm like, oh, wow, 5 pages. It's been like 2 hours. Didn't even feel them because I was just like in the zone. Yeah.
Focus, ultra focus.
Ultra focused. But as soon as I wanted to do something else, I could do anything. Not like Adderall or any of these things, which I've tried. And they do not work with my brain. It's just not good. But like the main difference was with LSD was like that. With mushrooms, with the microdose, it was exactly the same, except it makes me even more social than I am. Just una mariposa social. I always want to talk to people and everything. So I'm focused, but then I need to tell somebody about this. This is incredible.
Too. That's so crazy.
I wanted to talk to people. So what I do is when I'm working and everything, I do the LSD microdose. And when I'm gonna go out, when I know I'm gonna be with people and everything, I do the mushroom LSD, the macrodose, and that's how it works with my brain just perfectly. And I'm always in this incredible mood. And I think something really important is that it helps yourself to figure these things out. It's not like a chemical that'll block signals, and as soon as you take the chemical out, those signals will come back, and so you can't stop anymore.
Yeah.
Microdose will work with neuroplasticity. That's what LSD and mushroom do. So you can actually, your brain reworks itself in neurons, and it helps you think and actually get through things.
Y eso te iba a preguntar, because I feel like it does work, like you just said, like on a cellular level. It connects things. In my mind, that's what I envision. Like when I've taken more, like when I go to a party, instead of drinking alcohol, I'll just take some chocolatitos con los mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I feel like you said, I start talking about, hey, and what do you think about las estrellas? Like just things just to start conversations. And I'm pretty social, but it's a deeper conversation. Y me pongo a llorar y les digo a la gente, o sea, look, I just start like kind of even like a psychic in a way, no sé. Do you drink alcohol?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just wondering, because now I'm like, I've been praying when I'm microdosing que me quite esas ganas de tomar alcohol porque soy muy tequilera. Me encanta el tequila. Yeah. And I feel like anything that's more natural, like shrooms, are just more healthy. You know what I mean? For your body.
Yeah, they are. But that's something I do. I will substitute drinking with like taking mushrooms. What I do is I usually have at least 2 times a month. I'll take a day of the week, like a Sunday, and I'll do the full dose. I'll write, I'll have my music ready. I'll start in the afternoon at 1:00. It'll last through the night. And I always have questions to ask and meditation exercises. Nice. And what you want to do when you do this is always ask questions, receive answers, and try to elevate your mind, right? If there's something bothering you, you can fix it, because it'll actually push you, forcing you to confront whatever's going on with you. And at the same time, that's what they call a bad trip. Like a bad trip, but what it actually is, it cycles you with a problem. So you'll be like, oh, I'm really scared of this. Oh, I'm really scared of this. I'm really scared of this. And it becomes like when you read the same word a lot of times, and then it loses its meaning. So with the bad trip, this problem will lose its meaning, and then you can actually analyze what's actually happening to you. And what you were saying, that it can reconnect, it make new neurological connections. It can also break neurological connections. That's why it's being so good at PTSD.
Because when my brother does it, he goes back to like things that he needs to heal from his childhood. O cositas se le vienen. And then he's like, he cries it out, and then he feels better the next day. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's almost like it breaks, bad habits as well. It could break bad habits, but also generational things que vienen de nuestro pasado, pues.
Sí, totalmente. Es lo que hace. It's what it's doing. It's why it's so, it's breaking new grounds in psychology and how the brain works. Because we need to understand that we grew up with psychedelics millions of years ago when we were hominids. Yes. You know, there's the stone ape theory that says that we probably ate mushrooms or something, and that helped our brains grow real big and start looking at the stars and start doing art and all of these things. So a lot of art, like anthropologists and archaeologists, need to realize that we were probably high as a species when we made a lot of art. Yes, and you need to look at it through that lens. They were trying to tell us something, but because they were on shrooms, right? And if you're on shrooms, then you can understand it. So we shouldn't be afraid of these things. We need to understand them and educate people on what they can do, how to take them. Because cuando empezamos, me dijiste, mucha gente le tiene miedo. They're afraid of it. Yeah. And it's not just that they tell us like they're drugs, but most people will tell you like, oh no, LSD, that's horrible. I took it at a rave and it was horrible. Like, well, you shouldn't take psychedelics at a party when you don't know what's going to happen to you. Because it may turn bad. I mean, it won't hurt you, but you will have a bad time, and then you will be afraid of them.
Exactly. So that was my next point, because I think a lot of people use it as a quote unquote party drug. And you can, but the thing is, if you see it and view it as a medicine, these things, LSD, psychedelics, and you do it on a spiritual realm, and you do it like you said, that's one thing I want to implement is I want to start journaling when I'm microdosing. Just because it's like I haven't put that into play, but for me personally, I feel like you have to prepare yourself, have your music ready, have something to write down, because se me vienen muchas ideas, you know, like a lot of crazy ideas that I wouldn't have thought about them, to be honest, if I wasn't, you know, on shrooms. Pero bueno, yes, like you can use it for party, but like Jose said, you guys, you have to be careful, because I feel like you need to be in a safe place, and you need to do it in a way of, I'm trying to change myself for the better. And sometimes when there are a lot of people, you can have, and you most likely will have a bad trip. So that's why I think it's like, oh, it's a party drug and this and that. Yes and no. So just be mindful.
I mean, I would tell people, like, if you're gonna start to learn how to ride a bike, you won't go mountain biking as when you're starting, right? First, learn about the bike, how it feels, what it does to you, how to control it. Now you control the bike. The bike does not control you. Then you can take it out to a different kind of terrain and everything. It's the same with psychedelics. Use it for you. Learn what it does to you. Let it cure you. Let it confront you with your fears and fix them. Once you know that you can control it perfectly, it happens. Then you can take it outside and go to a place when you know that you won't get overwhelmed by the music or the people. Because that's usually what happens. You get overwhelmed and you don't have a safe space. And you start to panic and you get paranoid and they start looping, and that's your bad trip. But if you're in your home with somebody that knows what they're doing also, and you have your bed, if you want to go lie down, take a shower, you have fruit or munchies, you can go eat that, go outside, you know, that's how you should always start. And even so, the main point of psychedelics should always be to better yourself.
Yes. You have to set that mindset to say, yes, I want to better myself. That's exactly what I say. Te lo juro que digo, I want this medicine to bring the best out in me, to make me a better version of myself, to heal my mind, body, and soul. Y cada vez, it's like, I want to have a good experience. I'm intending that. I want to be the best self. I don't know if it's because I'm doing it now, pero siento como que mucha gente lo está haciendo ahora. Like this whole, right? The microdosing or, you know, doing like mushrooms has become very popular, I should say, for the lack of a better word. Why do you think that is? Is it just something that people have been doing, or people are just more open to speaking about it?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, people have been doing this since long ago.
Forever.
And, yeah, and like microdosing, Francis Crick, the man who discovered the double helix from DNA, he was technically microdosing on LSD when he figured out everything. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the guys that made the internet, they were also microdosing, which it wasn't this great science, but they used low levels of mushrooms or LSD, and they came up with the internet and how to connect it and everything. So you have no idea how many people and great scientists have tried this.
A lot of professionals take
it. It opens their mind. Yeah, like Silicon Valley, people use this a lot.
Yes.
So besides that, we were using it right now. I think there's more information. We have the internet and everything, and now it's easier to get. Like with LSD and mushrooms, it's hard to get the microdose. An LSD, it would be 1 microgram with a little square of paper. You can't cut it into 10 parts. It's really hard. You need a chemist that sells you the microdose dosage.
Okay.
So now they're coming up with this, and it's more open, and people can find somebody that they can trust, actually, but they can sell it now with microdose. And then there's all these studies, and people are talking about it, and they're more open. And all these fears from parents and church and even police officials and everything, people are like, wait, this won't kill me. You told us the same about marijuana and about mushrooms. So
alcohol back in the days.
Yeah. So I want to try it. And people are more open to try it. And I think the most important factor is we're living in a time where there's an epidemic of loneliness, of feeling empty, of emptiness. Even though we're connected with the internet and with the pandemic that happened and everything, we are looking for meaning. And religion is not doing it because we know there's more. People are opening their minds to what else is there. And psychedelics is exactly the thing that you need to get there. So people are more open to, I want to discover myself from the inside and then discover the world and religion and everything else. So I think that's really important. It's given us a chance to actually connect with ourselves. Once we do that, we connect with nature, we connect with everybody else. And eventually, and that's the point of psychedelics, is the freedom of ego and connecting yourself to the wholeness of the universe. Seeing yourself as a part of everything, but also as an individual. It sounds counterintuitive, but once you figure that out, once your brain can actually see that, you have no idea how much freedom it brings and how much empathy and love it can give you towards everything else.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Like it just, I don't even know how to explain it, but I think you explained it absolutely perfectly. Que te sientes, you feel like I am a part of something so much bigger outside of this world. And you find that and I could sit here and try to explain it, but until you figure it out and feel it yourself, you'll understand what I'm saying right now. You're part of something magical. O sea, it's amazing. And that's why I'm telling you guys, I'm so passionate about this. And I just feel that this is something that who's they? No sé, but there's that want to keep this from us because you use a different side of your brain. It heals your brain. I feel it heals your soul and you're happier and you're just more creative and they want to suppress us. That's just they. No sé quién sea, les digo, quién sea they, pero hay esos güeyes por ahí.
You should totally talk about the conspiracy because it's true. It was the CIA that actually made LSD. You know, they gave it to everybody to see what would happen, see if they could control people. They thought this is the drug with MK Ultra, which was the thing that happened. They said this is a drug where we can control people. And it turned out to be the complete opposite. It would free people. So now you can't control them because they're like, oh, you need to worry about your job and an 8 to 5 and blah, blah. And people who are opened and connected with the universe will be like, no, and I don't want to fight another human being. Why would I hate other people, right? And
stop war. You know what I mean? It's like peace and love. Yeah.
That's what happened with the hippies. Everybody was high on LSD, smoking weed and eating mushrooms. And they were like, why are we fighting each other? Let's just have sex and love each other and work together, right? So the government was like, oh, whoops, no, take it back. We need to make this illegal.
Les dio miedo.
And, definitivamente, because there's no overdoses. You don't get violent. And it's scheduled as like, it's on par with like cocaine and heroin. And once you see what LSD does or mushrooms, you're like, why is this something that we should fear? And that the government's so afraid about. And that's a conspiracy. And I do believe that that's a big part of it.
Okay, sí, so no estoy loca. Thank you.
No, para
you
nada.
And I, siento que nos tenemos que sentar un día de estos, take some mushrooms together y hablar de un chingo de cosas, porque siento como que la gente, no sé, like no me va a entender or they're gonna, I don't know. I feel like I have a social responsibility, but I also feel like you just said, I thought, why are we not sharing this with the world? Why? You know, I've been giving it to my grandma, right? And la verdad, ella tenía mucha ansiedad y mucha depresión, mucha. Y estaba tomando muchas pastillas to help her with that, like prescribed medication. And I told her about this y le dije, es una medicina. Ya después le dije que eran honguitos. Y ya después le dije, mire, tomes estas pastillas, son naturales. No le eché mentiras. Dije, son naturales, tómeselas. Y le dije cómo. And she is like so much better. Now, instead of taking 2 of her pills, the prescribed pills, she's taking 1. And then now she's spacing it out. Like little by little, she's weaning off of it. So I'm just like, I want to share it with the world. We need to know about this. And I'm hoping that it becomes legal. And I think we're not too far from it personally, like mushrooms. What do you think?
There's a state, I don't remember which one, that just made it legal. I don't know if it was Colorado but they made mushrooms legal now.
Okay, so ahí va.
Yeah, just like with weed. But I think we need to educate people, not just the ones that are going to take it, but the ones that are still against it because they're still living in this, like the 1980s with the DARE program and Ronald Reagan and his war against drugs and all this stupid stuff and the satanic panic. So we still have a lot of people that are against it because they don't know what's going on. They think it's as bad as heroin or as bad as fentanyl.
Right.
And this is a plant. This is something that probably gave us cognition or more like the cognition that we know of today. So we shouldn't be afraid of it. We should be studying it and using it to better other people and our minds and just the love we have for each other.
Yes, and heal. Again, like Jose Antonio just said, we have to, instead of being afraid of something, read on it, research. Knowledge is power, you guys. No le tengan miedo. O sea, watch. If you guys are more of like watching things, there's so many documentaries on Netflix now, on YouTube, you guys, just to educate yourself.
Exactly. And I don't know if you knew, but we come from the same branch as mushrooms.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Humans. So way back when life was starting, one branch turned into mushrooms, and from that branch started animals and mammals and a lot of us. So
no sabía.
We're even connected. We're connected in that way. And the biggest living entity in our planet is a mushroom. In the United States, it's enorme. It helps trees talk to each other, and it communicates, and it's alive. There's so much we can learn from them.
So much. Yo por eso digo, a mí nadie me puede decir que no existe Dios, que no, y le puedes decir Dios o le puedes decir lo que tú quieras, but there is something so much more powerful than us, you guys, and it's in our plants and in our trees, and it's even in us, of course. And the mushrooms are just, I don't know, there's just so much. Now I'm like, I believe in magic. Absolutely. That's what we had talked about last time. I'm like, yes, I believe in magic, guys. It's there. Trust me. You know?
You can see it.
I can see it now. I swear. It's like, I don't care. Yeah, para mí es like, ay, si la gente se enoja, porque pues en lo que yo hago, like, you know, my music and everything, it's still, a lot of things are still very taboo. And I get criticized a lot for talking about certain things and talking about this. And it's like, you're ruining our youth. But I'm like, if you only knew, this is actually going to help our future, the future generations. And it's, pues ni modo, o sea, I feel like si Dios me dio esta plataforma, we need to share it. I need to have people like you that are super knowledgeable and know about these things, and you're so open-minded. Like, la verdad me encanta hablar contigo. Like, I feel like you're just neta, like a beautiful, beautiful mind. And I swear to you, I'm not kidding. We need to sit down and chill. Yo tengo muchas preguntas.
I'll go over. You put the shrooms in the kettle pot, and we just talk and have a great psychedelic experience. Yes, something I love to do is I'll take some shrooms, and then I'll go to the El Vivero, to the plant store, and I'll look at the plants. I'll buy a lot of plants. I'll come back home.
Love it.
I'll tend to my garden.
That's
y la
awesome.
siembro, y es todo un día de nomás estar en contacto con la naturaleza, con amigos, platicando, hablando de philosophy, and you get into all these things. You just appreciate just a day more than you'll ever appreciate any other day.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Oh my gosh. Y antes de que te vayas, quiero que nos digas un poquito de Escuela Secreta. It's your third season, ¿no?
Yeah. And it's going to take a whole new approach. You know, in the first one, it was me talking about esoteric stuff and Wicca, Santerismo, chaos magic. And then the second one was me talking to people that know about this stuff. I actually have an episode about mushrooms. I talked to an expert about psilocybin. It's in the second season. And the third one is going to be more about analyzing since we wake up, like from my microcosm, like I wake up, what's waking up, what's dreaming, why do we need to dream?
I see.
And then I'll talk to an expert about that. Then my house, what's my house? How does owning property work, right? And I'll talk to an expert. So going about my life from the smallest micro things to the macro, like the universe, where are we standing on? So that's going to be like the new emphasis on Escuela Secreta Season 3.
Me encanta, la verdad. You guys listen to it. La verdad, yo soy fan tuyo, la neta. And if you want to share, please share your social media with everyone.
Yeah, you can find me anywhere as El Badiablo. And, well, just listen to Leyendas Legendarias and Escuela Secreta.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much. And you guys, I have a quote, ya saben. And the quote is, "The body is a self-healing organism. So it's really about clearing things out of the way so the body can heal itself." So I thought it was perfect for what we've been talking about. So you guys, just reiterating, we are not professionals. So we we're not doctors here. You guys, talk to your doctors. Don't stop taking your medication and you think that mushrooms is going to no. Go talk to your doctors, do your research. And if you want to try it, then that's on you. I'm just sharing my experience. Jose, thank you so much. Y pues, ahí te veo, te watcho, o sea, soon, because I want to go visit you, or you come here, no sé, but we got to chill, for sure.
Sí, chiquis, it's going to happen. And thank you so much. Gracias como siempre.
Thank you. Un abrazo. Besitos a todos. Los quiero. Do you need advice on love, relationships, health, y más? I'm so excited to share with you that my Chiquis and Chill podcast will have an extra episode drop each week. I'll be answering all your questions. Just leave me a voice message con todas tus preguntas y yo te las voy a contestar personalmente. All you have to do is go to speakpipe.com/chiquisandchill podcast and record your questions. I can't wait to hear from you. This is a production of iHeartRadio and the My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcast and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and check us out on YouTube.